All right. So I wasn't sure if I was going to do another patch notes video here. I also didn't expect to get another patch in, what was it, 2 days since the last one. But here we are. And it does seem to be a bit of a significant one. That's really the only reason I did the last one too. Just because there's some balance changes and stuff like that. And it looks like there's a whole bunch more here. Priests kind of get addressed, at least they're mentioned, but yeah, it looks like there's a bit more substance to this one too. So I figured I'd do another video on this. Hopefully you guys are enjoying these. But yeah, we're going to start off here. We're not going to go like over everything here. The network stability thing. Well, I guess we might as well. Our servers have been under heavy DDoS attacks recently, with attacks occurring every day. These attacks are causing the latency issues and connection problems you may have experienced. Our server provider finds this level of attack intensity unusual, as it typically only targets major game launches. We're collaborating closely with our provider to develop a protection system. Development work is estimated to be completed in a few days, and the system will be deployed ASAP. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience and negative experience this has caused. Please know that we are working diligently to resolve this issue as quickly as possible. So I haven't had any network issues or anything like that, but I know I have seen in these Steam forums, don't go there, it's terrible in there. On the Steam forums, people talking about having server issues and stuff like that. Fix your servers is usually the title of the posts. But yeah, that kind of explains it. I guess they've been getting DDoS, so unfortunate, but it is what it is. That seems to be the norm these days, is DDoS attacks. It's pathetic, but it's the internet, unfortunately. New content. New event, Shadow Constellation. Rogues now have a new E-skill called Shadow Veil. Team up with your rogue buddies to experiment with new tactics. Participate in the limited time event to earn exclusive rewards. I don't know. I haven't actually read all these yet, so I don't know if they're going to tell us what Shadow Veil is, or if we have to wait and find out ourselves once the patch is done, which is in about 2 hours from when I'm recording this. But yeah, we'll see what that is all about. But new items in shop. The skeletal weapon skins are now available. Unleash the terror of flesh and steel upon your enemies. I don't like the flesh and steel part because it's bone. I don't think there's actually any flesh there, but nitpicking. But yeah, from the look of what I saw last time, it looks like they're releasing these skins, the whole collection of skins, in 2 separate parts. So you're going to get these ones now. I forget which these ones are. We might see them down below here. But we're getting a certain collection of them now, and then another collection in 2 weeks on the 15th or something like that. So we'll get the other half of the skeletal weapon skins then. I'm not really into the bone skeleton-y stuff myself, but if you are, you're in luck. Anyway, increased spawn rate for shadow portals. The spawn rate of shadow portals has been significantly increased. Shadow portals can now also appear in the castle. Oh, okay. In both casual and classic. Interesting. Step through the portal for an epic battle against the vengeful monarch. I fought him once, got my ass beat, but I also went in as a gray, maybe some green dark knight, and just got destroyed. It was rough. I started off good, and then the ads came and I just couldn't deal with them all. But it was cool. I don't know if I'm going to do this too much solo, but I might try it, see what happens. Get to learn the boss fight and maybe have some success, but we'll see. We'll see. Class balance. All right, so now we're getting into the meat here. This is the stuff most people care about. Starting off with Cryomancer, probably public enemy #1 right now. I've been running around a little bit as Cryomancer. I like to play all the classes. #1, just for something new, but #2, to also learn how they operate and try and learn counters and stuff like that. I know when I started out as a Cryomancer, I was having a lot of issues with resource management, which they're going to talk about here. That was my biggest issue, so I kind of had to conserve my energy quite a bit early on. So knowing stuff like that can be big, knowing that it's a little bit harder for them to gain resources until later when it's just kind of ridiculous. But anyway, Cryomancer dev comments on the Q skill Frostbite Curse. has brought the Cryomancer back to the top tier, but its current performance is severely polarized across skill levels. Low-end cryos struggle with soul energy management, while high-end cryos enjoy the highest damage floor and ceiling. Changes below aim to balance this disparity. Damage. Dev comments. Compared to the other classes, a well-built cryo benefits from 2 unique damage multipliers: reduced cold resistance from Frostbite Curse, and the independent damage boost from the will passive Bone Chilling. It's unwise for such a low-cost skill to have these advantages, so we've made the following changes. The will passive Bone Chilling now requires a minimum distance of 15 instead of 1 meter to start gaining increased damage. The maximum damage bonus is achieved at 25 meters instead of 15. This significantly reduces the situations where Frostbite Curse can gain the maximum damage boost. I believe this was the one, I haven't personally tried it yet, but I think it's when you get further away from the Cryomancer, you start taking more damage. So it looks like you have a bit more of a gap now. And it doesn't kick in until they're 15 meters away, and not like right in your face where they start getting ticked by it. So that's probably good. Frostbite Curse no longer reduces cold resistance, reducing the damage of high-end cryos and significantly lowers the burst potential of cryos using melee weapons with orbs. The base of Frostbite Curse has been increased from 30%, 12.6% to 36.16% to ensure that low-end cryos damage remains roughly unchanged. Base damage has been increased from... I guess I haven't used cryo enough to know. Oh, right. There's different like stages or something to it, right? Okay, I got it. So yeah, they've buffed the damage, but they've also taken away that cold resistance thing. So Frostbite itself is going to do a bit more damage now. But yeah, the follow-up with the like ice sword, ice dagger, that kind of thing isn't going to be as much. Character limit reached. All right. Yeah, so I don't know how that's going to play out. I mean, getting rid of the cold resistance at least gets rid of some of it. But we'll see. We'll see if anything else comes up here. But from my understanding, the biggest issue with cryos are their, what is it, the life on hit, where they apply that Frostbite Curse, and every tick is also healing them, even more than they already are healing. So we'll see. Soul energy. Dev comment, low-end cryos need to kill more than 2 monsters to gain enough soul energy for a single cast Frostbite Curse. That is something I've definitely noticed. Making their energy management overall reliant on the Dex passive Permafrost, which 100%, that was the first thing I focused on, which I believe is like every crit hit you land gains you 2 soul energy. That felt like it absolutely was necessary. Additionally, a full energy pool allows for 6 Frostbite Curse casts, enabling cryos to cast their Q every few seconds in PvP. To address this, we've made the following changes. Cryos' maximum soul energy has been reduced from 260 to 100. Whoa. Okay, that's a pretty big drop. The soul energy cost of Frostbite Curse has been reduced from 40 to 20. This combined with the energy cap change lowers the maximum cast from 6.5 to 5. This means that overall frequent use of Frostbite Curse will result in insufficient total damage. Okay, I mean, I did find that when I was playing cryo, is like I was able to Frostbite Curse a fair amount, and then especially when I got that passive, it was quite a bit. So I mean, that could help. Soul energy cost of Ice Storm has been reduced from 60 to 30. That's going to be an interesting one. So I only play solos. Like 100% of my games have been solo so far. And Ice Storm doesn't seem great in solos. Curse just, to me, was the way to go. But I have heard that Ice Storm is very strong in like groups. So that could be interesting. I mean, I guess they kind of had to drop that cost with the solar energy reduction, right? So like you're losing more than half of your soul pool, and they're dropping the cost by half. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. as we're gonna kind of see with all these things. I need to actually get my hands on and see how this stuff performs before I can say for sure. Soul energy cost of E-Skill Ice Armor, which I don't think I've ever used, has been reduced from 25 to 10. Okay, just all these changes make sense because you are now losing such a big part of your pool. The Dex passive permafrost has now been changed to restore 1 soul energy when dealing critical damage instead of 2. Okay. The value of soul energy gained from kills remains unchanged to reduce early game dependency on the dexterity talent in PvE. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to try these out and see, but so far they haven't touched on the real issue. But the casting range of Ice Storm has been increased to 12 meters. Maximum travel distance has been increased to 25 meters to improve the skill's initiation capability and adapt to the will passive changes. Thunderclap Flask. The slow effect has been reduced from 75 to 50%. The duration has been increased from 4 seconds to 6 seconds to weaken the synergy between Thunderclap and Lightning Staff. Now, here's the problem. Here's the major problem with that. That's all great for the Lightning Staff. The problem is for fighters. I'm a fighter main. That is my only way to catch people, really. I need those Thunderclap Flasks. I am not sure that the slow effect is going to help my fighter anyway. Whether I'm dual swords or whirlwind, I'm just not fast. I don't prioritize dex. I do get the dex passive. I do dex, stamina, and strength. So I do focus a little bit on dex, but like I'm still so much slower than everybody else. So the problem here is that I get that they're trying to weaken that synergy between Thunderclap and Lightning Staff, but that just straight up screws me as a fighter. That extra 2 seconds of how long the slow lasts is usually not enough. I don't know. Like even the 75% at 4 seconds sometimes just does not feel like enough. As my fighter, I usually have to hit them with the flask, dash into them, and then try and pop my either battle cry or my whirlwind to hit them to get my additional slow from those. I don't know. I don't know if I like this. I would rather just see like, I don't know, you equip a Lightning Staff, you can't use a Thunderclap. I don't know. Something like that. I just feel like we're kind of fighters are having it rough out there in a kind of range and movement speed meta. It's kind of hard for a fighter, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Potential upcoming change. We plan to adjust the stacking logic of slow effects to multiplicative and add a minimum movement speed to prevent players from being immobilized by multiple slow effects. Again, they're just trying to fuck me. Again, as a fighter, I have to hit him with the flask and then get in and try and slow him again with my passive on my whirlwind and my battle cry. So now if I can't stack that, I don't know. These changes are like trying to stop the caster meta kind of thing, but inadvertently screwing the slow melee character side of things, but we'll see. Okay, so let's get into the rogue here. New E-skill Shadow Veil. After a 3-second preparation, nearby allies, except Panthers, enter stealth for 15 seconds. We hope this new skill brings a wave of new team fight strategies to Dungeonborne. Here's the problem. That means absolutely nothing for solos. That means that's just nothing. I mean, cool, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. Again, I've pretty much 100% played solo. I guess being able to stealth your teammates is something, but here's what I see about that is one of the issues people have right now is the W key meta, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of it too. I will bypass mobs to get to players because that's what I'm after. I'm after the PvE is pretty, it's there, but it's not like, to me, it's not engaging. So the PvP is what I'm after. So usually I'll fight PvE depending on my class, stuff like that. Sometimes I have to, I can't just rush past it. On like my fighter or my DK, I can kill the PvE a little bit quicker. So that's good too. So I don't mind engaging with it. But there are times like on my rogue and stuff, I will just run right past it all to try and get to other players and PvP. So now the problem potentially is entire teams can go stealth and just rush past it. That's the problem I foresee with that. And I do think it is an issue that like spawns are pretty obvious. And as you learn the game, you know where player spawns are and you can bum rush them and get on top of them before they can really do too much. So having a way to do that even easier now, because like, again, the AI is pretty trivial in a lot of situations. You can just run by them, open a door, close the door behind you, and they're stuck. Some of it's like slow, stuff like that. So now having the ability to stealth your entire team for 15 seconds might open that up, at least before, like, unless you have a team of rogues or whatever, it's not that easy to just stealth past them all and get through. Usually, I would imagine from what I've seen in groups, most people are fighting the PvE, right? Don't know how I feel about this. E-skill vanish change. Change to invisibility lasts for 30 seconds and breaking invisibility triggers a 10-second cooldown. What was it before? 15? I think it was 15 before. So they're getting a much longer invisibility. I don't know if that's necessarily something that, I don't know, man. A lot of people say rogue is weak, but I had some games earlier where I saw people complaining on the Steam forums. Again, don't go there. It's a cesspool. I saw people complaining about I saw one thread was rogues suck, worst PvP class, and then another one, rogues too strong. The duality of people that don't know classes very well and stuff. But yeah, I decided to play rogue just to mess around, and man, I probably pissed some people off. I played so like hit and runny, which you kind of have to as a rogue. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is necessarily what they need, an additional 15 seconds of invisibility. It's already kind of annoying when they just like run forever. Now they're going to be able to run forever while invisible. We'll see. It's a thing, I guess. Personally, I'll probably still stick to, what's the other one? Whatever the other one is, the quick instant invisibility, just because I have the poison passive as well. So it's nice to just pop into invisibility real quick, hit him with the poison, and then go from there and have that a little bit easier to do, like just in the heat of the moment. But yeah, I don't know about all that, but they didn't really say anything. I like when they do the dev comment stuff, but they didn't do that here. Mithril Shadow, E-skill stealth. Okay, so it's, again, Mithril Shadows are basically rogues. So they're just kind of keeping the consistency there. Swordmaster fixed a critical issue where the E-skill Whirling Blade can only be blocked by shields. Wait, you can block that? That's baloney, even with shields. I swear I've tried to block that and I've still got hit. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention that well, but I don't know. Resulting in a higher than expected effective damage in PvP and making it difficult to counter in close combat. Now, the skill can be correctly blocked by all weapons, properly affected by block damage reduction, and correctly triggers block-related effects such as dual daggers, self knockback, and longsword's perfect parry. So I was actually going to say that about the rogues. I feel like that was such a huge issue for rogues in like a Blade Master fight. He's against Whirlwind and stuff. For those of you that don't know, it's very important that you probably should know if you play rogue. But if you block with dual daggers on like a Whirlwind from a fighter, it'll actually knock you back. So if they get on you and they start whirlwinding and you block, it'll knock you out of their radius basically, and it gives you a chance to kind of get away. Depends on whether you're slowed or whatever too, but just something I thought I'd point out there. But the knockback with the dual daggers is pretty huge to get out of like whirlwinds and stuff, and it looks like now you can use that to get out of the Swordmaster whirling blade as well, which, I mean, they still feel like they have the speed of a rogue, so it might not be that much different, but it's something at least. Added a visual effect to indicate damage reduction when the stamina passive deflection is active. I don't play Swordmaster because I have taste. So I don't really know what that is, but that might be the damage reduction. Is that what it is? I don't know. It might be the damage reduction thing when your whirling blade is going this stupid 50% damage reduction thing. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, fair enough. Death Knight, reduce the casting time of for Q skill Soul Shroud. So we were talking about this in the last video. This was their potential change or whatever. So I personally don't use Soul Shroud because it takes so long. You got to do the animation where you go down and you're kind of immobilized for a couple seconds. The other thing I don't like is that it just uses so much energy. I like having the other aura thing that you can kind of toggle on and off, especially now with the damage reduction from it. It's just way more. For me, I like the utility more of being able to turn it on and off whenever I want and kind of conserving it. Whereas with Soul Shroud, you use it and that's it. It goes for the duration and that's that. Increase the slow effect. Okay, so they did actually do that. Increase the slow effect of Soul Shroud and Dexterity passive decay from 15 to 25%. So I think it was 15% for like 1 second or something. And then there was the passive as well, the Dex passive, which was like 0.5. I think it was 0.5 seconds, 15%. So when you had that with this, that would stack up to 30. Now it's up to 50% if you have both of those and use Soul Shroud, and it's quicker. So I'll probably give it a try because that was one of the biggest issues, is that it was slow to cast and you were immobilized. You kind of had to use it and like then initiate, and if the person saw you doing it, they could back away, right, and kind of make you waste some of that time. So we'll see how much quicker it actually is. But yeah, I'll probably give it a try, especially with 50% slow now. Because I think the other one that I use, you need that Dex passive to get the even just the 15 for 0.5 seconds. So now this thing is going to give you 50% versus the 15% of the toggleable one. So I'll probably give it a try, see how it is. Especially because I usually have the strength passive active as well, which is what is an extra 20 soul energy you get back from your grabs. So that can help mitigate some of the cost of this. I'll give it a try. Fix an issue causing stuttering when using two-handed swords or mace and shield while Q skill is active. I don't know if I've noticed that, but hey, fixed issues are good. Druid. The E-skill Shadow Assault and Panther Foam can now interrupt certain enemy actions, such as bandaging, similar to other attacks. And that's what we need. That's what we need. All right. That's exactly what they needed. Fair enough. Okay, moving right along. Priest. What I mentioned, I'm out there for you, priests. I want to see you guys get some wins here, but not quite yet, I guess. Priest, dev comment, buffing the priest is our highest priority at the moment, which it probably should be considering their 1.83% pick rate. But we believe that further numeric buffs cannot fundamentally solve the core issues and could be very risky. I agree. I'm not a big fan of just buff numbers and that'll fix everything. It's usually not the case. We've been working on this for a while now, including some major changes and new skill options, some of which are already in testing. We hope to share them with you soon. Stay tuned. There you go, priests. They recognize that you guys are getting the shit end of the stick. Yeah, I kind of agree. Again, the jacking up numbers and stuff is probably not the play. I feel like they need more utility. I don't remember if I said it in my last video or if it was a post I made somewhere, but I would like to see just like more utility from them. I wonder, what did I say? I don't remember what I actually suggested, but oh, somebody was saying even in groups, this is obviously for groups only, really, this idea, but even in groups, they would just get focused down as a priest and it'd be done. It'd be cool to see something where maybe they have, I don't, whether it's a passive or a skill or something, but some kind of aura or skill where if you're within a certain range of your teammates or something and the enemy attacks you, maybe that damage gets either completely reflected or partially reflected to your teammates, since obviously your focus as a priest is usually like healing. If you're getting focused down and the damage is like bouncing to your tanks or whatever you want to call them, and you can just focus on healing them, that might be kind of useful. I don't know. Again, I don't know if that'd be too OP or whatever, but just something to keep priests uniquely them. That way there's still, I've seen a lot of people talking about just turn them into clerics or turn them into paladins or something like that. But this would kind of maybe keep them uniquely priests, and then there's still room in the future for bringing in clerics and paladins and having their own kind of identity. Just something I thought of. I don't know if that would necessarily work, but some kind of more utility to them would be nice. Being able to shed more debuffs. I believe they have some spell that does actually shed debuffs, but maybe something a little more significant where it sheds the debuffs and like protects you from them for a few seconds or something like that might be useful. I don't think that would necessarily help in solos. Solos, I think, is where they really need help, but I don't have ideas on that one yet. That one I'm not sure. Maybe back on the reflection thing. Maybe if you don't have allies, you get like a thorns kind of effect or something where the enemy hitting you might reflect some of that damage back. That might help. I just feel like in combat against in 1v1s, they just don't really have any. All they just sit there clubbing, and that's about all they can do. They don't really have any tools for like 1v1 combat, which again, I know they're like a caster healer role. They're not really supposed to be combat, but trying to think of something that could help here. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they have in mind. Gameplay balance. Increase the number of static escape portals in classic mode castle. There can now be 2 fixed escape portals. Oh, okay. Yeah. The guaranteed ones, right? Okay. I was there now be 2? Was there only 1 before? Oh, okay. I never really noticed. The cooldown of the resurrection shrine has been adjusted to 10 minutes. Again, that doesn't really mean anything to me since I'm pretty much 100% solo. But hey, if that was an issue, congratulations on getting that fixed. Adjusted the Vengeful Monarch's AI. He will now alternate skills between players instead of continuously targeting one player. Again, I fought him solo, so I don't know. I was the continuous target for sure. So I don't know how good that's going to be. Like I can see in certain situations, again, let's go back to the priest. If you're in a party with a priest, you probably don't want your priest getting hit here, and you want the monarch to focus a tankier teammate. But I don't know. Let me know if you guys think that's a good change. I don't really know. I don't have any experience with that to know whether that's an issue or not. Equipment balance. All right, let's see. There's a lot of stuff here. My God, I need a little quick sip of water here. Jeez. All right. Equipment balance. Gloves and boots now have defense attack levels and can be counted towards the participation requirements for classic map. So I know a lot of people were this is something they really need to address. Maybe they do here somewhere, but they really need to address the gear score system. I personally believe there is a gear score system in like casuals. I know that there isn't one in classic. It's just like a free for all of gear, but there are so many people that say there is not a gear score matchmaking thing. And I don't know, I've got a little over 100 hours in this game, maybe more than that now. And I have not experienced this massive disparity in gear that people are talking about. Everybody's talking about, oh, I'm a level 7 and I'm going up against level 20s and all purples, and I got one green and they got legendaries, and I have not experienced it. All of my games, and I pay very close attention because I see this so often. All my games, there's like maybe like a 10-ish, maybe a little bit more point disparity that I've noticed, but I have not experienced this this crazy disparity where people are going in all grays and running into fully legendary purple 3-mans. But again, there's also people I've seen that said that there isn't a solo queue, and that's just 100% wrong. So a lot of people say things in the heat of the moment that and exaggerate. So I would like to see them address that a bit more, though, because it is such a vague thing and it's open to rumors and interpretation and stuff like that, and hearsay from people that just aren't that knowledgeable in the game. So I would like to see them address that, because my God, I see that all the time. I not personally, I don't see that at all, but I see people saying it's an issue all the time. Optimize the attack range. Oh, and I meant to say, now with the gloves and boots, there's going to be attack levels attached onto that. I know some people were trying to, oh man, I'm circling back here. There's a bunch of things I wanted to say about this. People were basically using gloves and boots as a way to not have extra gear score, right? So now that is going to count. The other thing I was going to say is there's also this rumor that I have personally not experienced. I haven't tried it. I'm not going to, because if it is an actual issue, it's a little scummy, but I haven't seen any evidence to suggest that it's true, but people are saying that you can put a bunch of gear in your inventory and have all grays on, and then have purples in your inventory, queue up, and you'll get matched into gray lobbies, and then you put on all the purple stuff. I don't know if that's true. I don't feel like it's true. Probably not true, but I don't know. Again, another thing I'd like to see them address. Optimize the attack range indicator for the lightning staff, which can now be displayed correctly on some complex terrains. All right, I played a little bit with the lightning staff, mainly as my cryo. I didn't really notice too much. Actually, for those of you that know the spot on Castle, there's like I don't know if it's a church or whatever, with a headsman usually in it. Just to the east of that, in those halls, there's like a window that has like a wooden platform ramp kind of thing to get from the ground floor up to those windows. I did get into a fight on there once, and trying to cast my lightning there. The person was above me and I was below, and trying to cast in there, that was a little bit messy. I don't know if there's really anything you could do for that kind of thing, but be interesting to see what this means. I didn't really have any issues other than that, though. I feel like the targeting reticles are actually kind of fairly well done. I feel like I was a little worried being in first person that it might be hard, but actually hasn't been too bad. Optimize the activation logic of set bonus Tiny Torment. It no longer affects teammates. Tiny Torment, I believe, is it the one where unblock damage, they take 5 true damage every 0.5 seconds or something like that? I think that might be the only one I've used. That might be something else I'm thinking of, though. Some of these set names, they don't sound like what their whole thing, like I think it's Tangling Chains. To me, that sounds like it would slow down the enemy, and I don't think it does. I think it actually speeds you up. So some of the wording doesn't really translate for me. Like the set name doesn't really sound like what it does in some of them. So I'm not 100% sure on the Tiny Torment, but that might be the 5 true damage one. I didn't realize it affect teammate. Again, I'm a 100% solo player, so I haven't had to experience with that, but that's kind of funny. Set bonus for Force of Trinity can now properly apply the vulnerability effect with tier 3 activated. I don't think I've used that, so I can't really say too much about that, but there you go. Set bonus Ferry the Lake. Re-equipping items no longer refreshes the internal cooldown. Damn, well, that's good. That seems a little... I think that's the one where if you hit somebody, a little fairy flies out at them and does like 50 damage, and I think it hits in an area. So that's probably good that you can't scam that system and keep spamming people with those. Fix an issue where set bonus Pity of Death malfunctioned in the Vengeful Monarch encounter. Interesting. There you go. Others, add a display showing the total market value of all items in your stash. Okay. Opening the tab during the game will display the player's shield value below their health. Adjusted the attack angle when defending with Mace and Shield, and optimized the animation for one-handed Mace basic attack combos. I don't know what that means. Optimize the animation of one-handed Mace basic attack. I love the Mace bonk. You get that thing going, and it's kind of crazy how much damage you can put out with it. But all right, optimize the combat area. Okay, this one I'm not. This one I happened to like glance at when I was getting ready to do this, but optimize the combat area of the Cyclops in classic mode, giving players more space to fight. It's a big rooftop. What does that mean? The only thing, sometimes when I'm backtracking trying to fight them, sometimes I'll run into the tiki torches or the statues if I'm not careful. Maybe they remove those, but I don't know what else they'd have to optimize up there. It's a big open rooftop, but we'll find out, I guess. Adjusted the AI logic of some monsters. Ranged monsters will detect players at a greater distance while reducing the tracking range of some monsters, making it easier for players to escape pursuit. Again, this kind of goes back to the whole running past mobs to get to players issue that people have. Again, I'm kind of used to it. Again, I'm guilty of it, but I'm also used to it and expecting it, though I'm usually the aggressor. But making it easier to get past these might not be the right play. But I don't know. I don't think this matters all that much in the grand scheme of things. If people want to get past the AI to get to players, it's going to happen regardless of whether it's easy or hard or whatever. People are going to find ways. Optimize monster placements near spawn points to prevent immediate engagement upon entering the game. Oh, okay. This is just... I thought this was the issue we were just talking about, rushing spawns to fight players, but this is just like... I guess there's some... I'm trying to think of any. Some spawns where AI might attack you immediately. The only one I can really think of is way up in the north. In that big courtyard where there's the big tree. You spawn under like the ramp thing, and there's usually like a goblin roaming there, and it aggroes you right away sometimes. I've like opened the first chest, and it comes sneaking up behind me and hits me in my ass. So maybe they mean something like that. That's probably good. Improve the spectator views refresh rate for teammate icons after switching perspective. Okay. Optimize some UI displays, interactions in the trading slash shop. Optimize the interaction display rules of custom appearance interface. Optimize the visual dynamic of cloaks. What does that mean? I hope that means they're a little more flowy. I feel like the cloaks are a little too stiff. They're very like, they don't like hang. I'm a sucker for some good cape physics. So maybe. Optimize the escape portal effects. Whatever that means. Upgrade our security measures, which now has better ability to identify and combat harassment messages and certain cheats. Apparently that's a big thing too. The game is riddled with cheaters right now. I personally haven't had any issues, but again, it's one of those things where some people just don't want to admit that they done fucked up and played a situation poorly, or just don't understand the game well enough to understand a situation. Somebody was complaining that people were cheating because they always knew where players were, or they knew exactly where players were, but it comes back to that whole spawn point thing, right? There's so many things to explain that. You're either in your spawn and people know where that is and will actively seek that out. They'll follow the trail of bodies that you've left behind to find you. I do that all the time. I see a trail of bodies. Okay, this path, there's a bunch of dead bodies. This path, there's a bunch of live monsters. The person probably went that way. They also forget the fact that druids just straight up have wall hacks. There's so many things that can explain situations a lot of times, and some people just like to go to the cheaters immediately and not really look at their own thing. But yeah, that's good. Certain cheats are being identified a little bit better. It's always good. Bug fixes. Fix an issue that caused the druid model and silhouette to appear abnormal after logging out and reconnecting. I wonder if this is what I'm thinking. I've seen some times where I'll be in like the lobby and there'll be like a druid player in their panther form, but it's all like distorted and contorted. That maybe it's something to do with that. It's kind of funny to see though. It's like a panther standing on its back legs all twisted and stuff. It's kind of funny. Fix an issue where the rogue's handheld item position was misaligned under certain conditions. Good, because I hate like clipping and stuff, so that fixed that. Perfect. Fix an issue in competitive mode where the cryotherapy passive stat count was incorrect under certain conditions. Fix an issue where throwing equipment from my height would cause the equipment to disappear. I wonder if they mean like flasks and stuff. I don't know what other equipment you could throw. Fix an issue where small objects like necklaces falling into carpet or other terrain models in some areas could not be picked up. Fix an inconsistency between the backpack item icons and tooltip item icon for uncommon and higher quality orbs. Okay. Fix an issue in windowed mode where switching to the background and dragging the window cause the in-game countdown to behave abnormally. Fix an issue that would cause players to not see their teammates' icons after disconnecting and reconnecting. Fix an issue, a known issue in Castle and Sinner's End level 2, where 2 maps where players could get stuck, fall out of the map, or were unable to move. Oh, damn. Okay. Luckily, I haven't experienced that yet. Fix an issue where the game could automatically switch to windowed mode if it lost focus while in full screen. Fix an issue where setting the mouse wheel to map and backpack binds caused malfunctions. Fix an issue where prompt information was repeated in tutorial dungeon. Fix an issue where distant doors wouldn't display properly in game. Oh, that was one. I think I have my render distance set pretty high, but there's some times where I can't quite tell if a door is open or not from pretty far ranges. So hopefully that fixes that a little bit. And again, that goes back to that other point about players cheating and knowing where I am all the time. There are so many times where I'll sit on top of the castle where the Cyclops is, and I'll look across to the courtyard to the east where there's usually a werewolf and the little fountain thing. And I'll see if the doors are open. And if I see some of the doors open, I'll actively go over there because I know there's players in that area. I don't think people understand how small these maps are and how easy it is to get like height vantage and like just know where to go. Fix an issue where the game could automatically switch. Oh, I already did. Yeah. Right. Fix several known issues that cause stuttering. That's good. I know there are certain spots, again, going back up to the north where that courtyard is with the big shabby looking tree is. Where is it? The room to the west of that. You spawn in like a little back room, and there's like a ramp going up and like a wooden platform right at the top of that ramp. I don't know what it is, but my FPS takes a huge dip every time. Super consistent every time at the top of that ramp. My FPS drops by like half, just for like a split second or two. But every time, I don't know if it's a certain direction I'm looking or what, but it It happens a lot. So hopefully stuff like that with the stutters is fixed. And then fix several known localization issues. Okay, and then we looked at this in the other video, just some of the events and stuff that are coming. So again, I was talking about the weapon skins. There's going to be this collection now. So it looks like the crossbow, a staff. I assume that's the one-handed sword. That one looks a little bit bigger, so that's probably the long sword. So yeah, crossbow, staff, one-handed sword, dagger, and then on the 15th, we get the other half of the set, which is the long sword, the shield, other staff, and then the relic, I think they're called, the orb ball things. So there you go. And then yeah, so I want to see what these limited time events are. I assume those are going to be the masks we can earn from them, the rewards they were talking about. So yeah, we got about what, an hour and 20 minutes until this comes back up. I want to go see about getting that. But yeah, there we go. Some interesting stuff in there, some interesting changes. I still don't think certain things are addressed quite where they need to be. Like they got to remove the wall hacks, just get rid of it, change it. Somebody made an interesting suggestion of changing it to footprints instead. The problem with that is it's just going to bring more of the they copied Dark and Darker accusations, because that's a thing for what, Ranger in Dark and Darker, being able to see footprints. I don't know, maybe make a scent trail or something. I don't know. I think they got to get rid of the wall hacks altogether. It's just like, to me, that's lazy. It's just super lazy. It doesn't really teach you anything. Do you really need wall hacks? You can use your ears. I don't know. I just think it's lazy. Shit like that is lazy. It's a lazy skill and it doesn't teach you anything. That's my take on it. Just get it out. It's got no place in this game. Get it out. Get it out. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. I think that's all I wanted to talk about with this. Again, I wasn't sure if I was going to do this, but this did seem like it was a bit more of a significant patch with lots of stuff to dive into there. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll probably keep doing these anytime there's like a significant one. If it's just little like bug fixes and stuff, I probably won't look into it too much. But yeah, with some big class balance stuff, I'll probably do more. So hopefully you guys enjoy them. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about these patch notes. Let me know if there's still any stuff you guys are having issues with that you'd like to see change, stuff like that. Let me know down below. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.